Hi friends, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and I had to get you up close next to the table. But I wanted to come down and say hi, and say that I am making a beautiful money oil today, completely inspired by no one except me. I'm doing it from my Cunningham book, and plus there's a couple other things I'm just throwing in here that I want to have in my money oil. So this is completely my version of a money oil. Okay? I'm using the assistance of the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, and I'm looking under how to obtain luck, how to get money, riches and treasures and wealth to obtain, and prosperity to obtain, okay? So, we'll just go through here as we can, and I'll tell you what I'm putting in here. This is the jar that I'm using. Now, first of all, there's a beetle on top that basically like climbed up here and died, and I don't know what the heck is up with that, but I feel like it's meant to be. This has been at my altar. I have a citrine stone because those are meant to be good for monies, drawing money, and I have a raccoon balcony because I want my life to be fertile with money, okay? And also you can use this balcony to dip inside of the oil and to apply and anoint your candle so that you're fertile with money. Now, this oil you can also put on yourself because nothing we're putting in it is toxic. If you did decide to add mandrake, because it's one that's really good for money and riches, you would not be able to put this on your skin because it's poisonous. So that's what's there. I don't want to make a ton at a time, but I'm just putting in this smaller bottle. Yeah, so let's get to it. I would start by getting a coal disc hot and burning it, because one good thing that's good for prosperity is ash. So you could either use some ash from here, but also burning onion skins brings you wealth and prosperity. So I would start a coal disc, burn these onion skids on it, and then use the ash for this. Do you understand what I'm saying? For the purposes of the video, I'm just going to use the ash from here, because we've got a lot to do in one video. So I'm using color magic with the green. Green is good for money magics. And I'm just going to start by putting the beetle in, you guys. Or, I guess I could leave it till last. It's probably best, so it can kind of not get crushed and float on the top. Okay. Oh, can you also see that I put a $5 bill in there, and I taped it from the inside with tape on all four of the corners. Now, I know it's probably going to fall off once I pour everything in, but I folded a corner to cover up his eye, and I wanted all the 5s to be out because I like the number 5. And I've even folded it on the inside there, okay? Alright, so can you see what we're doing? Great. I'm going to start with the things that are for obtaining luck. Star anise. Wait. Yeah, star anise. And I'm going to be putting 3 stars in. All the things that smell good, I'm going to put more of them in, okay? Then we've got, it said roses were good for luck to obtain, so I'm going to start with the rose hips itself, you know? Okay, these were 3 we foraged this summer. 3 halves of the rose hips. I'm also putting in rose water because this is something I put on myself. I add it to my money. I put it on my bills. I put it on all kinds of stuff. So I want it to smell good. And it will with rose water, you guys. And it will thin down the oil a bit, which will be nice. Okay, next we've got holly leaf. I'm just going to put 1 in. And this is picked right here at my property. and then dried. It smells like tea, to be honest, but it's definitely poisonous. Right? I think it's a poisonous one. Okay. Orange doubles up. Oh wait. Okay, so also for the last one for luck is bamboo wood. So I'm putting a piece of bamboo wood in there. Oh, a smaller piece. You can also use that stick to anoint it with. Because I broke them to the size of this jar, so it fits perfect in that very same jar, of course. Okay, next, oranges. They double up both to obtain luck and to money and riches. So obtaining luck and money and riches, oranges are good for both of those, and they're so good for anything that you want to smell good. Now, I'll put a skin of the orange in, as well as a dried whole piece. These are gorgeous, and they just like candy. They smell so good. Yeah, those smell divine. Oh, so yummy. I'm not going to put the skin in after all, it's just too much. I'd just rather having those two beautiful orange circles in. I'm going to use this in an offering tonight. It's soaked in rose water now, it smells lovely. Okay, so then we've also got organic orange peel. This is not one I've dried myself, but the store did it. And it smells really good. It smells like candied. I'm going to pour that in too. So we've just got way more orange aromatherapy in there. Awesome. All the ones that don't smell good, I'm just putting a little bit in. Okay, so for instance, like the golden flax. This one is good for money and riches, but it's just going to absorb everything else, so I'm only putting a little bit in, like a pinch. This much, a pinch. Okay. The dill is good for money and riches. And it smells lovely. And as you can see, I'm kind of trying to tuck the money in. The oranges are there, and like the bamboo is here holding it up. I'm trying to tuck the money and make it safely in there and kind of put everything else around it. And I'll use this in something else. Don't worry, it won't go to waste. German chamomile is great for money and riches. And look how beautiful, you know. Smells beautiful, but it's a big oil soaker upper, so I wouldn't put a ton in there. One that doubles up is allspice. It doubles up for luck and money and riches. And it smells amazing. Yes. And cloves I'm adding in because remember we were reading earlier, we were talking about ancient Egypt and spices and how spices were more desired than money and gold, and people were murdered over them, and clove was one of the ones that people were murdered over. Now this feels to me like it's held such significance to money in the past. I'm going to put a good amount of those in, and they smell amazing. And orange and clove is one of the classic ones together that smells just holy. Okay. Cinnamon, we want to get a small stick in there because we're running out of room. And you could use it at the end to blow your intention on and then stick it in. For the purposes of the video and time, I'm just going to do this now. If you didn't have a balcony, you could tie on a cinnamon stick to the outside instead and use it as a dipper. You could keep it in here and use it as a dipper, you know, whatever you like. Not everybody has bamboo wood, so maybe you want to use cinnamon. Go with what you feel. Okay, next. So meanwhile, this is all like burning away, you know, because you're adding intention over each one of these herbs, so you're sitting here and holding it. Before the video started, and as I put these in the jars, I add intention over them. And at the end of this, I'm going to sit with this with a candle for like half hour to an hour and charge this. So you do however you want, but the best way I think for beginners is to charge in between each and ask, onion skins, bring me prosperity in this smoke. Pecans, bring me luck and riches. You know, everything that it's for, just start saying that. Okay, pecans, they're good for money and riches. And I'm just putting in one small one, you know? One small one. And it's just whatever you feel. That's how many you put in. Sesame, it soaks up a lot, so I'm just putting a pinch in, just like with the flax. You could use blonde or black sesame. Ginger, I have ground ginger here. You could use fresh root, that would be the best. I just don't have any on hand. This is going to smell good, but it's going to soak up the oil in a weird way. So you're probably not going to want to add too much. Just to, well, that's a lot. Oh well, it's what was meant to be. Whatever fell in is what was meant to be. I'm a firm believer in that, so I can't get too upset. Poppy seeds, a big money drawer. Those can be pricey. Pine. This is from my very house, so I want to bring the money to this house, and I'm using ingredients harvested from here. This is going to make it smell amazing as well, this oil. Oh, this jar smells so good. I'm going to get this one in there. Oh, it smells so good. It smells just like Christmas. And you know, Yule and Christmas are my favorite time of year. So this is going to just have a lovely smell to it. And it's just going to really hit that olfactory sense where you immediately feel good and happy. Because your sense of smell is one of the quickest things to bring you back to a place and a happy time in your life. Okay, so now we have cardamom pods, one of my very favorite money drawing ingredients, or prosperity drawing ingredients. I love them. You guys, there's not going to be a ton of room for oil in here. I should have used a bigger jar, but I've had this on my altar for quite some time. I'm using a little piece of sage for cleansing. Just a little piece because I don't have much room. A few pieces of pink Himalayan sea salt for, you know, purification and cleansing. A cat whisker so that Bastet will help me with my riches so that I can also take care of her. And cat whiskers should be one of the first things to go in. I always forget that because sometimes they just want to pop right out. And oats, just grab a couple. They absorb too much oil and you would just have a paste. So just literally like 10, you guys, not many. And I think, is that everything except the ash? Now you would take your ash, and it doesn't have to be cooled. I actually think it's a good idea if it's not cooled. You could put it at the end over the oil if it wasn't cooled, because the oil would make it not catch fire. But here I'm just going to add some ash that I've burned for to cleanse my home. And you don't want to add too much because the ash will make the oil into like a paste at the bottom, like I've gotten in some of my other ones. Shaking this up, and I'm going to pour the oil over top. That citrine stone there, wrapped up in green, string for color magic. Look at, it's so gorgeous throughout. And I've got that $5 bill on the outside so I don't have to label it as money. I'm going to pour in this grape oil. Grape is good for attracting riches, so we're using grape oil. You could also use almond oil because almond is good for the same, or it may have been prosperity. I'll have to relook. Oh my goodness. I'm going all the way up to the top with that oil, just leaving barely a little bit, enough to shake it. And gosh, it's gonna bubble and get in all those good spots, and the $5 bill is sitting there hanging in. I love it, you guys. Alright, so let's lid it up. Oh, last thing we've got to put in there is that beetle. And it's just going to sit there on the top. Kind of come back to life in the oil. Ask for the spirit of the animal to help you. And I'm not shaking this, you guys. I'm literally barely turning it with a very sealed lid. Barely rolling it around. And as I barely roll it around a couple of times, you know, I'm really adding my intention into there. Do not shake this. I do not suggest that you shake this with the jar this full, you know. As you can see, it's bubbling. The oil's going where it needs to go. Okay. And now I'm going to do some candle magic by carving on this candle. Excuse the mess. What time are we at? 17 minutes. Okay, we're alright. Okay. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to do some candle magic. Sit here, hold my intent, and I'll show you how I'm going to start all that. Get a green candle. If you don't have a green candle, you can just get a white candle or a black candle, because white represents purity in all things and can represent any color, and black's all colors. So, okay, green. Your special magical carving tool. And then just carve it in the law of attraction, so carve it in future tense. This oil has whatever you need it to do, you know. This oil has brought financial gain to everything it has ever touched. Because we're going to apply it to ourselves, to our bills, to our money. To ourselves. Did I say that? To our loved ones, to our car. Anything. to our work tools, to our, you know, paychecks. You could get a raise. So what would it be? Or however you want to finish that. You could just put your symbols on there. If you don't have a symbol yet, you could just make a star of creation. How do you get a symbol? You just try and visualize one in meditation. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just enough for your guides to read it. And so as the candle burns down, your intention is burned into the universe, into the astral plane, and it starts working for you, okay? So when we burn this on top of this and then we sit with it with our intention, man, that fire is just really... Can I put this on upside down? That's so weird. That fire is just really crazy amazing, helping out your spell. Smells beautiful. It's going to smell so amazing once it sits. I really should just use this lid. Okay. Stealing a lid for the time being. Okay. I put it on upside down. Make sure you don't do that, but apparently it will be fine. Or I may have just gotten lucky because my guides helped me for the video. Who knows? Okay. What do you think? Stones, taxidermy, actual money, put in a little like conspiracy symbol with the hand over the eye, like that Illuminati stuff, you know? Now, light it from your altar candle. If you can't get in there, get a match and light it from there. I'm able to light it from here. Usually I have a working candle on this altar that's lit from my altar candle, you know, that I keep burning all day. So just drip some of this wax down until you have enough to stick your candle in, and then you just let your candle burn. You can drip some wax down the side to make it look pretty if you want. I'm just going to let this one burn, but if I did do that, it would help this. Darn it, I should have done it before. It would have helped the ribbon stay if I would have used some wax. But I really want my intention to slowly burn the candle, down the candle, and for my guides to help me with that. And they will. Now, if you still had your cinnamon stick, or you could even take another cinnamon stick, they're great for protection. You can blow all over this. But if you had tied the one to the outside, you could take it and think of the change you want to happen. Think of what you want this oil to be doing for you. You know, it's a money oil, so imagine your credit card statements coming back with a zero balance, or even a credit. Oh, I broke my little nail. That's a bummer. I should have put it in the oil. Oh, you should have put my DNA in the oil. Here we go. Because you pull the hair from the front of your head because it's the future you're asking for, what's in front of you. Well, I guess that's too much hair to pull. So you can put your DNA in here and it will directly connect to you. If you were using this for your whole family, get a piece from everybody and put it in there. And if you have dreads and whatnot, or if you have hair, you don't want to cut from the end. You want to get a piece from the top because it'll actually have your skin tag in it, and that's like the DNA you want, the fresh DNA from your body. This hair doesn't want to stay. Fine. Okay. There we go. Now, you want to stay with this the whole time, okay, you guys, because you don't want to leave a candle like this. It's not going to catch fire to anything. If it was burning on top of a cork, the cork you'd want to stay and then put out before it was actually done. And then you can actually light it again, you know, right before to say a blessing over it, right before you use it, something like that. Look at this road opener oil that we made. There's this key inside. Can you see it? It's like a fish in the water. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. But yeah, you guys have been making some really radical oils and doing up lots of awesome things. So check out all my oil videos. I just made a playlist of things so that hopefully it's easier for you guys to see things. This is a death oil I made with a giant deer jaw inside. It turned out really good. The energy is like radiating off of that sucker. So, alright, the money oil. Thanks for joining me, you guys. All my love, Jen the Taxidermy Witch.